Welcome back to Josh and Kristie Stealing the Internet. I'm Josh.
And I'm Kristie. We've got some more Reddit stories for you, so let's get into them.
Am I the asshole for telling my fiancé I won't marry him unless he removes his ex-wife's name tattooed across his chest?
Wow, getting someone's name tattooed on your chest is a commitment.
Well, he was married to her.
But yeah, I wouldn't want to have to keep looking at his ex's name on his body all the time.
The front of his body.
Yeah, that's not cool. I would want him to get that removed.
I, 28 female, am engaged to my fiancé, 32 male. He was married before, and while I understand people have pasts, there's one thing I can't get over. He still has his ex-wife's name tattooed in big letters across his chest. I assumed he'd get it removed eventually, but when I brought it up, he shrugged it off and said it's just ink, and it doesn't mean anything.
Well, it meant something when you got it, because why else would you get it? I disagree with him.
To me, it absolutely does. The thought of walking down the aisle and starting a new life together while he literally has another woman's name over his heart feels disrespectful and humiliating.
I could see that.
I told him I won't marry him unless he removes or covers it. He didn't like it and said it's his own body, and told me don't be shallow, focus on the present, not the past. But every time I see him with no t-shirt on, I see the name of his ex-wife and that hurts me. He's refusing to even consider it. So, am I the asshole for making this a condition before marriage?
Not the asshole. Focus on the present, not the past. You presently have another woman's name on your chest. Get rid of it.
Yeah, it's a symbol of your past marriage. Let's stop focusing on that.
Also, I feel like I would be pulling that, hey, you loved your ex-wife enough at the time you were married to her to get her name tattooed. Do you not love me enough to get her name removed?
Yeah.
You know, like, I feel like getting a tattoo and getting a tattoo removal are kind of, comparable.
I'd say so. Yeah, not having another woman's name tattooed in big letters across your chest when you marry someone is big.
Mm-hmm. I would take it as a sign of your love and affection if you removed that other lady's name from your chest.
Maybe he just really doesn't want to get it removed because he does. I don't know, doesn't that hurt?
Yeah, but I wouldn't think it hurts much more than getting a tattoo.
Yeah.
I mean, needle digging into your skin 1,000 times versus a laser. I don't know.
I know names are kind of hard to cover up,
mm-hmm.
but this is one of those times where I'd be like, maybe you can get a black bar and figure something out.
A black bar would be better than the name.
Yeah. I don't care how ugly the cover-up is.
Yeah, it's definitely a sign of his love and devotion to his wife at the time, who is now his ex-wife, and he needs to get rid of that before he marries his new wife to show his love and devotion to her.
Top comment. It's unbelievable that you have not talked about this before during your long relationship. To which someone replied, she assumed he would. Big mistake. Never assume. Always speak up. This should have been a discussion before you got to the engagement point.
Definitely should have.
I know a guy who was not very good at marriage because he had multiple failed ones. After each divorce, he'd tattoo an X mark over the wife's name. The new wife's name went under the old one. His last wife told him not to tattoo her name. They were married until he died.
I don't know if I could marry someone who had a bunch of women's names and then X's over each of them.
That's like a hit list. One last comment. My wife was the same way, asked me to cover the name of my ex. Guess what? No argument. No second thoughts. Made an appointment and had it covered. Done and over.
That seems like the correct response.
My brother went to get a solid black band over his ex-wife's initials on his ring finger pretty soon into his first serious relationship after her. Even went so far as blacking out both his arms since that was trendy at the time.
Well, blacking out both your arms is big tattoo. That's a commitment.
Yeah.
Am I the asshole for humiliating my husband in front of his boss and coworkers?
Ooh, did he have it coming? I think if it was warranted humiliation, you're not the asshole, but he's really got to have it coming for you to call him out in front of all of his coworkers.
And his boss.
And his boss.
So on Wednesday, I, female, was picking up my husband from work because his car is broken. When I arrived, he was standing in front of the building talking to his boss, male, and 2 coworkers, female and male. I joined them and we had a little chat, but then my husband started telling a story from vacation about how I stepped on a crab and got attacked. At the time, I didn't think much of it. I was just confused because I had no idea when it happened. After a moment, I realized it and said aloud, "But that happened to you, not me, remember? We even have a photo from the hospital." His coworkers and boss laughed, but he went a bit quiet. But the topic quickly changed, so I didn't even think twice. It wasn't until we got home that my husband asked me how could I have done this to him. I asked him what I did, and he said that I humiliated him in front of his boss and coworkers. He said I shouldn't have corrected him, and that I completely misread the room. He's been sulking ever since. Am I the asshole?
So it was okay if you were the star of the humiliating story.
Yes.
Which, honestly, is not that humiliating of a story, I guess.
Yeah, getting attacked by a crab, kind of funny, not humiliating.
Yeah.
Unless you lost. Which I guess he did. He went to the hospital.
Yeah, it sounds like the crab got him, and then he ended up in the hospital, yeah.
That is a mean crab.
Yeah, I don't fully get why he would decide to just lie about the story while you're standing there. Like...
And just assume you're going to go along with it and not be confused and be like, what? That happened to you.
Yeah, you gotta coordinate a little.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, if you're gonna swap the characters in a story, I don't know if I would just expect you to go along with my retelling.
Yeah, I don't know if I would either.
Like, I feel like you're pretty good at it, too. Like, you would go along and, like, support me in the story if it was in a group that you weren't really knowledgeable of.
But I feel like I would be really confused.
Yeah. You'd be like, what? I got bit by a crab? When was that?
Yeah, I would be really confused and might just accidentally spill the beans that, you're lying because I'm confused. I'm like, what? What are you talking about? But if I kind of picked up on what you were like, and there was a reason for gender swapping or like character swapping, I might go along with it.
But that's kind of what it sounds like OP was. She's like, what are you talking about?
Yeah.
I didn't get pinched by a crab. When did that happen? Wait, the time you got pinched? I remember that.
Top comment, don't lie if you don't want to be corrected. And why was it funny when he was telling the story about the OP getting attacked by this crab, but the instant the crab was attacking him, it became embarrassing?
I gotta say, when you're telling stories in a group setting like that, it's always better to have yourself be the butt of the joke.
It really is.
Because otherwise you're attacking someone.
I always feel like it's good to have a little bit of self-deprecating humor, and it just shows that you're humble and, makes people like you more. Whereas, like, if you're telling a story making fun of someone else, it makes you seem mean.
Yeah, that's just like the bullying crowd.
Mm-hmm. Not to defend the douche, but I suspect being called out as a liar in front of his boss and colleagues had more of an impact than the story being about him. I know if I was the douche, that was what would embarrass me. And yeah, being called out about lying about something so stupid is more embarrassing.
Oh, that's far more embarrassing. That's absolutely what he was mad about. If I had tried that and you called me out, I'd be far more embarrassed about the fact that I got caught in a lie than I was lying over something stupid. So yeah, I agree. Don't lie about dumb things like that.
Of course, Reddit is jumping to your husband is an asshole and a misogynist and you should divorce him.
Wow. That's extreme.
Reddit is always so quick to call for divorce.
That's true.
NTA, but you should tell him to let you know about any of the things he's going to bluff about later to sound cool so that you can have his back. And then maybe he'll realize how embarrassing that is.
Yeah, I guess so. If you're gonna bluff beforehand, coordinate. You gotta save your bluffs for, like, more important things, though.
This is just such a dumb thing to lie about.
It's really such a dumb thing to lie about. Save your lies for important stuff so people believe them at that point. You gotta be like, Josh never tells a lie, so everyone's gonna believe you when you lie.
What a sneaky, manipulative mindset you have.
I play poker.
Sorry, but that just reminds me that I did this when I was in high school to my mom. I would purposefully lie very badly about dumb things. Kristie, did you finish your homework? Yeah. And she's like, you're lying. Go do your homework. I'm like, oh, yeah, I'm going to go do my homework. But then the important things, like sneaking out with boys, lie really good and she won't doubt you.
There you go. I don't know why you don't play more cards.
Mom, I know you're watching this and you did not just hear that. I was a very good girl in high school. I obeyed all the rules.
That was Kristie lying to the audience.
Mm-hmm.
She didn't lie in high school. She's lying right now.
For the story.
Yeah, for the story. As a matter of fact, that was me that did that.
Yeah, Mom, I did all the rules. I was so good. Hey, if you've made it this far into the episode and you're enjoying it, could you do us a favor and hit that subscribe button for us?
It lets us know that we should keep making fun videos like this for you. Am I the asshole for assigning the chore of dishes to my wife?
I feel like neither spouse should be assigning things to someone. There should be a joint discussion and a joint decision. in a partnership. Marriage is a partnership, not a dictatorship, no assigning.
My wife is obsessed with Stanley Cups. Not the hockey trophy.
Oh, okay. Yeah. the trendy, expensive water bottle drink thing.
Yes.
Okay.
She owns at least 24, probably more. She uses 3 cups a day. Her morning coffee goes in one, a flavored water goes in the second, and then a third goes with her to work empty, so she can put whatever else she wants in there that day. For the last couple of years, I've put up with it. We've been married 9 years, and the only assigned chores are that I do the lawn care and the garbage, because the smell of garbage can make her vomit. We equally cook and clean and do laundry, and anything else that needs to be done whenever we see it needs to be done. Chores have never been a point of contention until March of this year. I took a lateral position that changed my work style significantly. I now work from home 4 days a week, with the 5th being a half day split between 2 offices. I'm home by 3 on those days. So, because of that, I've taken on way more of the chores. I'm not complaining about most of it because I can do it. My life is much easier than it was before. The problem is my wife's habits. Because her office is so remote, lunch options are limited. So she tends to take all the leftovers from dinner. The issue is, she will leave the dirty, unrinsed containers in her car for days at a time, and then just stack them up in the sink for me to deal with.
Ew. I'm sorry I woke you up.
Between the insanely bad smell and filling up the bottom drawer of the dishwasher every few days with Stanley's, I'm over it. In addition to the numerous cups, she also expects the matching lid and straw to be assembled before storage. I told her that if she wants to continue ignoring my request to bring her containers in every day, or to at least rinse them out at work, then she has to do the dishes from now on. Now, according to her, I'm being unreasonable. Because I'm home and don't have any commute time, I have way more free time than she does, and so I should take on the majority of the chores. But, from my view, I've done exactly that. Since the change, I do nearly everything. Vacuuming, mopping, cleaning, folding, storing clothes, grass, garbage, and most of the cooking. I don't think it's particularly fair to expect me to also deal with her stinky Tupperware and mountain of cups, along with the sorting of the accessories thereafter. Am I out of line here?
No, not out of line at all. Your wife is being an asshole. So she wants you to take on the majority of the chores, meaning all of the chores? That's not fair because you're still working full-time too. And even though you don't have a commute, so you have a little more free time, that doesn't mean you need to do all of the chores. I'd be like, yes, I am doing all the chores except this one. You can do one chore, and that is the dishes. Also, leaving your dirty dishes in Tupperware containers in the car for days and then bringing them in and expecting someone else to clean them for you is so rude. That is so disgusting and gross, and you should not put that on anyone else because that is a you problem.
How bad do you think her car smells?
Not great. I'm sorry, I remember my sister left a, chocolate milk. It was empty, but it had chocolate milk in it, and left that in her car for a few days, and oh my god, it was so bad. In the heat of summer, it was awful.
Milk is about the worst thing.
Yeah. So yeah, your wife is being unreasonable. It's not that hard to bring your dishes in every day or to rinse them out at work. Now, I would say that I'm not refusing to do the dishes. I'm refusing to do them if you don't bring them in every night. If you bring them in every night, yeah, I'll keep doing the dishes. But if you bring in 3 or 4 days worth of dishes and throw them in the sink, I'm not doing them. They will stay there until you do them. Because this is your problem that you've created by letting them pile up.
It sounds like more than one dishwasher load that she's bringing in.
Yeah.
So if you've got it overflowing the dishwasher, yeah, you gotta handle it.
Mm-hmm. I'd be like, I feel like requesting that she brings it in every night is not a big ask for all the other chores that he's doing.
Yeah, is it that hard to just gather all your crap before you walk into the house?
I feel like she's already gathered it to bring it from work to the car. Does she have it in a bag, or is she just carrying loose Tupperware to her car and chucking it in the back?
It sounds like that one.
She's already has it gathered to carry it from work to the car. How much harder is it to get it from the car to the house? I do not understand this lady's problem.
Top comment. Smell of garbage makes her vomit made me giggle. Then I read she leaves dirty food containers in her car. You know her car smells worse than garbage. I'd assign her trash duty.
Yeah. I feel like she's been lying to get out of trash duty. If she can drive in her car with days old Tupperwares, she can totally handle the trash then. Make her start doing trash and dishes.
Sounds like she got over the problem. Then OP replied to that one. I really don't understand how food sitting in a container baking in her car for 3 days is any different than something that got thrown away last night. She swears garbage just hits different, but stinky food is fine. And yes, I regularly have to clean her car out, and put gas in it, and make sure the oil is changed, lol. Are you just gonna quietly sit there and not comment on the filling up her car with gas?
And the changing the oil, because I never do those things.
No.
I was going to say that you should just stop doing all those things and see how long it takes her to realize. And once she runs out of gas once, they'll fix her problems real quick.
Is that the solution?
But then I'm like, no, don't do that. That's terrible advice because I don't want you to stop filling up my car with gas. I hate filling my car up with gas, Josh. I had to do it last week and it was awful.
I know. You complain every time you have to do it. You're on your own.
The 2 times a year I do it, I complain. I love you so much. You're the best husband. Thank you for filling up my car with gas and changing the oil.
I will say, that's the extent of your complaining when you have to fill up your car with gas, is that was an exact representation of what you say.
I come home from work and I'm like, Josh, I had to get my own gas. It was awful. And that's it.
That's it.
But yeah, if I was him, I would stop collecting the Tupperware out of her car and I would stop doing the dishes when she did finally bring them in. I'd be like, your Stanley's and your lunch dishes are your responsibility. That is your one responsibility, your one chore.
She could at least toss them in the dishwasher.
Mm-hmm.
Like, don't just dump them in the sink. Like, make a rule that you just have to load the dishwasher when you have a dish.
Yeah.
Some sort of rule has to be made here.
So I was going to say he's the asshole because unilaterally assigning someone a chore. But this is a problem entirely of her making. So I kind of feel like it's her fault. She should deal with it.
Yeah, it's less assigning her a household chore and more telling her to clean up after herself. Not the asshole. Tell her that until she cuts out her disgustingly bad habit of leaving the containers until they stink, dealing with her stink is entirely her problem. Once that habit is fixed, you can revisit the issue. The Stanley lids are all probably interchangeable, right?
I have no idea.
Because we use a few Yetis, and those all have interchangeable lids.
If they're the same design. Now, does Stanley... See, I don't know enough. Do they have, like, different sizes and different designs?
I used to have a different sized cup, but the lid was the same. I don't know if that's true for all of them.
My dad just got a Yeti with the handle, and it's got a screw-on lid.
Oh.
So it does have... There are different lids.
Okay.
That are not interchangeable with, with Yetis, which is what we use. With Stanley's, I don't know. But maybe the colors don't match, and so she's digging through looking for the pink straw and the pink lid that go with the pink cup.
Yeah.
Because you can't have a pink straw and a purple lid and a green cup. That's not cool.
That's true. I just, reassembling, 3 Stanleys before you put them in the cupboard, not a big deal. Reassembling, 18 Stanleys before you put them in the cupboard, that's a pain in the butt.
Yeah. Am I the asshole for not wanting to use any part of my husband's late girlfriend's name for our child?
I mean, no. I get that it sounds like she passed while they were still dating and he wants to memorialize her in some way, but I don't think bringing her name into the new relationship is a very good idea. It's a bit weird.
My husband and I have been together for 6 years, married for 3, and now we're expecting our first child. My husband lost his first girlfriend, Emmy, when they were both 21. They'd been together for almost 6 years, and he truly loved her. He was honest with me about her and about the fact that she would always be someone he missed, and he had maintained a relationship with Emmy's parents. That was always okay with me. He seemed in a good place to be in another relationship, and he had dated before me, so it was reassuring. About 6 weeks ago, my husband mentioned that if we had a girl, he would love to use Emmy or Grace, which was Emmy's middle name, somewhere in the name. He told me it was something he always thought of doing. And he told me for a boy he had ways of using masculine forms of Emmy or Grace somewhere in a boy's name.
What are the masculine ways of using Emmy and Grace in a boy's name?
Emerson or Grayson, probably.
Oh, okay.
Those are 2 I can think of. Emmett. I can think of several M names, but Grace, I can only think of Grayson.
I mean, Grayson's not a bad name.
Mm-hmm. I told him I wasn't really on board with that, and he never mentioned this to me before. He asked me why he would, and then said he didn't know why I was being difficult about it. It was a few days later he told me he wanted to use the names, and he was putting his foot down, that he should be allowed to. He said we can add it as a second middle name if I won't consider a first name or a first middle name, but that it should absolutely be in there somewhere. He said only someone jealous would be hesitant to use it like I am.
Okay, you don't get to put your foot down about the baby's name. It's a mutual decision, and it sounds like she vetoed this. And I gotta agree with her. It's a bit weird. I get that she was like your first love, but you're in a new relationship. You need to prioritize your current wife.
And I do feel like baby names are always a 2 yes situation. You need 2 yeses. If either one of you says no and vetoes it, it's out.
Yeah.
I asked him how he'd feel if he were in my shoes, if I wanted to name our child after someone else that I would always love but couldn't be with. He told me he would suck it up for my sake and he would accept the dead aren't competition. Then he said he would actually be the one suggesting it and there would be no weirdness for him. I think that's a big fat lie.
I mean, he's essentially a widower, right?
Mm-hmm.
Even if they weren't married, they were young. It was his first love.
They were together for 6 years, yeah.
I think that's just a lie of convenience because you don't have anyone like that in your past.
Yeah.
Or you would have a kid that was named after 2 passed away exes.
Yeah, he's only okay with it because it's his ex and, like, it's something that happened to him and he has always thought about doing this. So he's like, yeah, I'd totally be okay if you wanted to do it too because it's something I've always wanted to do. But if he didn't have a dead ex-girlfriend, he would not be okay with it.
Yeah, I think he's not seeing it from your viewpoint.
It was a couple of weeks later before he brought it up again, and this time he said he would do this even if I loved my late partner more and was only with him because I couldn't be with my late partner. If I had one, which I don't. That became something more emotional for me because it felt like a confession when he brought it up because it was randomly said to me. But maybe it also felt like he might be speaking for his feelings and how he might think I'd feel. I never had an issue with him loving Emmy or remembering her and feeling sad about her death or anything. I just never thought I'd be asked to name my child after her. To me, it feels weird and wrong, and this whole thing has made me insecure in our marriage. I told him as much, and he suggested I was jealous and shouldn't be so threatened by someone who died.
I mean, it comes across really strongly that he's not over his ex if he uses her name. I get that he's trying to honor her, but it's weird.
Your child with another person is not the time to honor your dead ex.
Correct. This is a time where if he had like a tattoo of Emmy on his arm, I might be okay with it.
Yeah.
But naming the kid you had with a woman that you've moved on with, it really sounds like you're not over her.
He's saying I would be okay with it even if you loved your late partner more than you loved me.
That's a weird thing to bring up unprompted.
That really sounds like him confessing that that's how he feels.
Yeah.
That he loves Emmy more than he loves her.
Yeah, like he's maybe putting Emmy on a little bit of a pedestal now that she can do no wrong.
Mm-hmm. He told his sister what was happening a week ago, and now she's asking me to explain my feelings and asking if I'm a woman or a little girl because only a little girl would be so jealous of a dead partner.
Damn, your sister-in-law sucks.
I asked my husband why he told his sister because now she was getting involved. He said he had to vent to someone and he felt I was being unreasonable and unkind about this. Am I the asshole?
You're not the asshole, especially now that he's gone and, like, sicked his sister on you. Like, once they start ganging up on you, it's pretty clear who's the asshole in the situation. No, I mean, it's very cut and dry in my opinion that names have to be mutually agreed on. I know he really wants to memorialize her. I feel like there's other ways to do it.
This is not the time or place to be memorializing your dead ex, no matter how much you loved her.
Some people don't even like being named after their own grandmother.
Yeah.
So this isn't even like somebody that the kid is blood related to, and they're going to have to be living up to this person's memory.
There's a comment that related to this, the top comment. As always, naming a baby is a 2 yes situation, and one parent is allowed to veto any name. I also don't like naming babies after dead people. They need their own identity and to not be compared to the angel who had the name previously.
Yeah, because that person can do no wrong.
Yes, like Emmy, he has put Emmy up on a pedestal because she's gone. They might not have even still been together, if she had lived.
Yeah, there's no way to tell.
But he is remembering her as more perfect than she was, I'm sure. Anyways, the comment continues. In your specific case, I hate the thought of your baby being named after his first love that he lost, that he would be with if she hadn't died. That seems like such an awful thing to do to you and to your daughter. It makes you the other woman to your own baby. I also feel that he was not upfront with you about being ready for a relationship or a child, whilst this ghost had such a strong presence in his heart. Yeah, I also feel like if this was something he had always thought of doing, he should have brought this up before you got pregnant.
Yeah, I think so.
Like, hey, I think we're ready for a baby. Also, I would like to name it this.
he kind of blindsided you after you were already pregnant, huh?
Ugh, just imagine him starting to bring this child to Emmy's parents, and all of them happily rubbing their hands together because now they have an Emmy to dote on. This child will not be allowed to be their own person. OP's husband seems to think of the child as his dead ex's kid through a surrogate.
Yeah, I would not be comfortable with introducing new Emmy to Emmy's parents.
Because he is still in touch with Emmy's parents and stuff.
Which isn't weird until he starts naming the kid after Emmy.
Another comment, your husband needs counseling. He never mentioned this because he knew you would not be okay with it.
I don't know. I think he needs a little bit of a benefit of a doubt here. Maybe he's not aware of how little he's over her, which counseling could help with.
He definitely needs counseling. An OP responds to this. I really can't see him agreeing to it. I suggested counseling together and he was opposed and said we could talk it out between us. And someone replied to that. He said no because he knows he's wrong and that counseling would likely demonstrate this.
I get being shy about telling a counselor about your problems, but if your partner asks you to go to couples counseling, you go.
Yeah. If you want to save the marriage, yeah. If one of you asks for couples counseling, you go, or you expect that you're going to divorce.
Yeah.
I like this comment. Ask his sister if her brother is a man or a little boy who needs his sister to pick on pregnant ladies for him. Don't give an inch. I guarantee if you allow this, she will be treated differently than any other children you have with him. It's pretty creepy to make the person carrying your child name your baby after your long-lost lover.
A little bit. It's weird.
But I do like that response to the sister-in-law getting in on it.
Yeah. You gotta go and have sister fight your battles.
People are also commenting that you need to make it absolutely clear to the hospital staff that she is the only one permitted to fill out the birth certificate so her husband doesn't try and name the baby behind her back.
I suppose that the hospital would prioritize mom over dad. I don't know how that would work.
I've heard some stories where mom was like in critical condition after the birth and the dad filled out the birth certificate. But I think if the mom requests it, the hospital would give priority to the mom.
Maybe you could just request we both have to sign it or something. Like, don't let just one of us fill it out.
Yeah.
Otherwise, I feel like it sounds like you're trying to claim the baby and cut him out.
I feel like you got to get this resolved before you go to the hospital, but I still wouldn't trust him.
No, not after he is pushing this hard.
Yeah, I still wouldn't trust him to fill it out by himself if, I was in critical condition and couldn't.
Yeah.
Gotta make sure all your bases are covered and you don't end up with a baby Emmy.
Yeah, it's hard to change their name. Am I the asshole for canceling a date with my fiancé to attend my son's birthday?
Not the asshole. I feel like your son's birthday trumps just a date. It's not like an anniversary or anything, it's just a date. I don't know, even anniversary, your son's birthday still might trump.
Yeah, I think depending on how young the son is, his birthday probably trumps everything.
That's a good point. Once you start hitting
20s.
Yeah, 20s. I was like maybe 18. 18's still pretty big. But once you hit 19 and on, the birthdays aren't as big a deal. I was assuming a little kid.
It is.
Okay.
I was just saying for that range. So I, 32 male, have a 7-year-old son from a previous relationship. I share custody with his mom, and this year it will be my turn to celebrate his birthday. The same day, my fiancée, 29 female, had planned a special date night for us. Something she'd apparently been organizing for weeks.
Why did she plan it on your son's birthday? She's your fiancé. I assume she knows when your son's birthday is. Is this a test of your loyalty to her over your son? I feel like this is a test. I hate this lady already.
When I realized the clash, I told her I couldn't make the date because my son's birthday comes first. She got really upset, said I was putting her second, and accused me of still being tied down by my past.
What? Your son is not your past. He's your son for life, including the present and the future. I'm sorry, I'm so confused by this, but I hate this lady. You gotta, if you're marrying someone with kids, you gotta assume their kids are gonna come first, at least until they're grown up.
No, the son is in the past. It's time to let him go. Just float him down the river.
You're starting a new life and a new family with me. Throw away your old children.
I told her my son is not my past. He's my present and future. Good dad.
Good dad.
She ended up going silent and later told me she felt disrespected and unloved because I chose a kid's party over our relationship milestone. We recently got engaged and she's really an amazing person. I love her and she loves me too, but I can't just disregard my son's life. Now I feel torn. My son had an amazing birthday, but my fiance is still cold towards me. Am I the asshole for canceling a date with my fiance to attend my son's birthday?
Absolutely not. Oh my gosh, break up with your fiance. I feel like, I always say it's a little extreme to jump to that, but break up with your fiance.
I don't like anyone who says you're putting me second. Like, relationships at the level of, like, child and fiance, you don't gotta rank them.
Yeah.
It's okay. They're both very high up there.
Mm-hmm.
And you just need to look at it and be like, birthday, date, birthday.
Birthdays are on a set specific day. Dates can be moved. Why don't you just do this next week? Move the date to next week. Easy peasy problem solving. She's just hurt because she did not win out in this competition between her and the 7-year-old son.
It had to have been a test, right? There's no way you get engaged to somebody and aren't aware of their children's birthdays.
I agree. I do think this was a test, and she does not like how it came out. But he is a good dad, and he did the right thing. Now, I would be taking a serious look at that fiancé. How does she treat his son during other times? Because he has 50-50 custody?
Yeah.
I feel like she resents the son, and she is probably showing it in some way, and that kid is probably picking up on it. I bet that kid does not feel safe and secure and loved by this new fiancé.
I didn't even think about that, because it's even his year to host the birthday.
Yeah.
They alternate years on who throws the birthday party, and this year it's his.
She is obviously herself in competition with this little kid. And that kid has got to be picking up on this. I bet he doesn't like that fiance. So you gotta take into consideration, you have 50-50 custody of your kid. How is he going to feel living with this woman? Not good. Now, I also, based on what she is pulling now with the trying to get you to ditch your son on his birthday to go on a date with her, I bet she is expecting that you are going to become more of an absent father after you marry her. She's going to expect you to go to like just a few weekends a month or something. I guarantee this lady does not think that in the long term this kid is going to be living with you 50% of the time.
He's in the past.
Yes, he is in the past. You're marrying her, get rid of the kid. He can go live with his mom full time. You can just go visit him occasionally.
Yeah.
That is not who you want to be marrying if you have a kid that you are committed to, being a parent to.
Yeah, you're a good dad. Don't stop now.
This lady is going to be a terrible stepmother. She's going to be the wicked stepmother that is in all the fairy tales. Like, seriously, rethink marrying her. I'm so concerned for this little boy.
She's definitely gonna turn into an evil stepmother. Top comment. Not the asshole. There should be no compromising when it comes to your son. He should always come first. The sooner your fiance realizes this, the better. If she's not willing to share you and understand your son comes first, then both of you need to reevaluate your relationship.
Yeah, why is this lady obviously is not okay dating someone who has a kid that they're committed to. Why does she get this far in this relationship with this guy?
I mean, maybe now that they're engaged, she suddenly feels more possessive over him.
I think she just thought that she would win out in this competition and could push the little kid out of his life.
Sounds like it. OP replied to that. I love my son. I wouldn't let even my fiance come between us. Now that I've seen how she resents my kid, there's need for us to sit and have a talk as to where we're heading. I might have to cancel the engagement if, in all honesty, she feels she's more of a priority than my son.
This is a conversation you should have had before you got engaged, honestly.
I don't think he felt the need to, though.
Yeah, he probably thought they were on the same page, and she thought they were on the same page, and they were not on the same page.
No, they were on opposite ends of the book. And then other commenters agree with you. She is going to be horrible to your son. If she's this openly resentful about him now, you will never be able to trust her. And OP did make an edit to the post. To reiterate, this post might have just exposed an immediate red flag I was too blind to see. Thanks to everyone for your input. It's about time I canceled this engagement until fiance knows that she'll forever be my second priority. My son will always come first.
Okay, he's being a good dad. I'm very glad that he is rethinking this because this relationship did not seem good for his family, in general.
No, it was not healthy for your family. I will say I still disagree with his wording there. Son does not need to come. It does not need to be first and second. There needs to be just high-ranking people in your heart. I get that, like, son at 7 wins out in most scenarios.
Yeah, I was going to say, like, I feel like in a lot of scenarios, the son does come first because he is a minor and cannot take care of himself and stuff. So he obviously comes first in a lot of ways because fiance is an adult.
But you can't just say, son will always come first. She's your fiance, you love her. Mm-hmm. I feel like you need to look at each situation individually.
Son's needs come before fiance's wants.
Yes.
Even though you love them both very, very much.
But the opposite would be true too. Fiance's needs would come before son's wants.
Although I do feel like supporting your son and showing you love him by being at his birthday is a need, almost.
Oh, that's definitely a need.
And going on a date with your fiance is not a need. That is just her wanting to be more important than your son.
I mean, you could even if you called them both wants, son really wants you there.
Yeah.
Since you're hosting the birthday party. What are you supposed to do? Just be like, no, I don't want him this year? I guess that is what fiance wanted you to do.
Yeah. And like, I don't know, I kind of almost a little bit disagree with you. Your kid, I know you love both of them very much and you should love both of them very much, but your kid is reliant on you and will be your kid for his entire life. Divorces happen.
I mean, it's happened to you once.
Yeah, I was like, your fiance, soon-to-be wife, might not be in your life forever. Your son is going to be in your life forever, you know? So I almost feel like son does take precedence over fiance.
I'm not saying that son can't win out in 99% of situations. He is your son. He's your blood.
You just don't like the way he worded it.
I don't like ranking people in your life when they're this close. I can confidently say my wife is my top priority in most things, but we don't have any kids yet. Mm-hmm. In which case, I don't think it's that weird to say that, as a human, I can love more than one person the most.
Am I the asshole for refusing to make a birthday cake for my daughter's friend?
I mean, are you in any way responsible for making the cake for your daughter's friend? That seems weird.
I, 33 female, work a stressful and demanding job with long hours. Even when I'm done with my workday, I am still technically on call, so I treasure my free time. In my college days, I used to work at a bakery part-time to pay for school and picked up some cake decoration skills from the confectioner. I quit the job when I graduated, but have made some elaborate cakes once in a while in the years since, mainly for my partner or other family and friends. I lean heavily into my engineering background to make them one of a kind, but a major reason they come out so well is because I make them out of love and with the person they're intended for in mind. She must be doing like the floating cakes and stuff if she's using her engineering degree to make them.
Yeah, I bet they're like mechanical marvels.
I was just thinking about like the ones that look like they're floating because they're suspended, and stuff.
I don't think I've seen those.
You need to watch more Cake Boss. A few months ago, it was my daughter, 4 females, birthday, and we had a birthday party for her where we invited some of her preschool friends and their parents. My daughter has been obsessed with Rapunzel, and for her birthday, she asked me to make her a Rapunzel cake with a tower. I took the week off of work and made an amazing cake.
You took a week off of work to make a cake?
Must have been like life size.
Yeah, right?
My daughter was incredibly happy, and it was the talk of her friend circle for a while after as well. Last week, I was picking up my daughter from school when I ran into one of the moms, we'll call her Allie, that was at my daughter's party. I had spoken to her briefly at the party, but that was my only interaction with her. She told me her daughter, Kara, 4 female, loved the cake I made for my daughter, and since her birthday is coming up in a few days, she has repeatedly insisted on having a similar cake for her birthday.
You made a good cake.
All the little kids loved it.
Uh-huh.
She asked me if I'd be willing to make a cake for Kara as well. I told her it took me a lot of time and effort to make the cake for my daughter, and I'm not sure I could accommodate it. She kept insisting, wouldn't take no for an answer, and I was running late, so I told her I'll think about it and let her know. She took my number down before I left.
Okay, great. You gave her your number.
That was a mistake. Later that evening, I asked my daughter if Kara is a close friend, since I hadn't heard about her more than a handful of times. She said Kara is bossy and she doesn't like her, but she's friends with her best friend. I decided it wasn't worth the hassle and texted Allie to let her know that I can't do it because of my schedule. She replied saying she would really like me to do it and it would make her daughter very happy, and that she was willing to pay me for it as well.
I wonder where Kara gets her bossiness from.
I told her I understand, but that it wasn't about the money so much as it was about the time and effort involved, and I'd be happy to recommend some excellent bakeries in the area that could make a custom cake for her daughter. She said that I had managed to find the time to make it for my daughter, and surely I can find some for Kara as well.
Damn, that's a crazy take right there.
I was miffed by now and told her that it isn't for her to decide, and that I'm just not interested in doing it or continuing the conversation. She devolved into cussing me out and told me I was being an asshole by not thinking of her daughter's happiness. Am I the asshole?
That's insanity right there. That's such a... What is even the word for that level of parent?
What goes beyond entitled?
Right?
I don't know, but it's beyond entitled. You did it for your daughter. Why can't you do it for my daughter?
I can't even imagine that jump in logic.
You donated a kidney to save your daughter's life. Why won't you donate a kidney to save my daughter's life?
Yeah, my daughter is clearly more important than your daughter. No, I mean, like, how could you possibly be the asshole in this situation? You took a week off from work. I assume you were doing other things. You weren't just making a cake for a week, but you probably put in a lot of effort, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, you did prep work and stuff. You gathered ingredients. Like, it was a fancy cake.
Making a tower, like a decent-sized tower out of cake, is so hard to make it stable and so it doesn't tip over and isn't lopsided.
Yeah. I almost want to know what she did.
A Rapunzel tower.
A Rapunzel tower, we don't know. Like, that could be so many things, but...
And probably like a Rapunzel, I don't know, but...
It was a good cake.
Yeah. Very impressive, apparently.
You almost need to quote her a week of salary.
Top comment, NTA. Send her a quote for what you make in a week on top of a standard rate for a cake of that size and complexity that she wants. And charge her an inconvenience fee as well, since this could impact your job.
I would call it a rush order fee, personally, but yes.
Also, easy to see where Kara gets her attitude from.
Wow. Did I write that? Yeah, you're not a bakery. Like, it's crazy to me that she would want you to...
She probably thinks that you'll do it for cheaper than a bakery, which is why she's so insistent on doing it, because you're not a professional, you're just an amateur, but so you'll do it cheaper, right?
Yeah, she's acting like you just have a ton of free time. And you can be like, well, I'm helping you by paying you to do work.
Yeah, and this is a huge inconvenience and you don't even want to do it.
No, you got a full-time job already. I would say the other option is to just hand her like a couple YouTube tutorials and be like, here's what I based this off of. But even that sounds like too much work.
Yeah, that's too much work. NTA, her daughter's happiness is not your responsibility. You told her you don't have the time and offered to recommend some bakeries, and she got snarky with you. Yeah, that's the other thing. She didn't just get snarky. She started cussing you out like that's going to change your mind.
Right.
Okay, but continuing. You may have dodged a bullet here. If you made one for Kara, you might have had entitled moms popping out of the woodwork demanding that you make a cake for little Snotfuss or little Rebecca. No means no.
Yeah, if you made a cake for Kara, Kara's mom would absolutely tell everybody that you can get a cake from her at this quality for this cheap.
Mm-hmm. And you would be stuck making cakes for everybody in your daughter's class. Thank you.
Yeah, she would be giving you business, and you don't want that business. I can't get over how unhinged it is to be like, you would do it for your daughter, why wouldn't you do it for mine? That's such a crazy-ass leap in logic.
It really is. To Allie, her little daughter Kara is the most important person in the world. To everyone. Why aren't you bending over backwards to make her happy?
Right? She's a little princess. Do you not see the little princess?
NTA, to insinuate that you're wrong for finding the time for your own daughter, but not a child you've barely met, just sent me over the edge. The audacity to even say it is intense.
Yeah, I feel like audacity is not a strong enough word, but I don't know a stronger one.
I don't either. But definitely not the asshole, and do not bend.
No, do not bend. This is horrible. Am I the asshole for straight up telling my boyfriend that I'm breaking up with him because he doesn't want to cook for himself?
I mean, honesty and bluntness is the way to go in this situation, I feel.
So I, 27 female, was talking with my boyfriend, 31 male, and he said that every night he doesn't want to have to cook after his long day at work. So he therefore will be eating at his mom's house every night that he's not hanging out with me. He also works from home.
So every night that you're not cooking for him, He means he's going to go to mommy's and have mommy cook for him?
That's exactly what he means, yes. While I can understand and appreciate that it sucks to cook for yourself, it feels extremely unattractive to have someone say that they don't want to cook for themselves, especially after spending a decade cooking for myself. Every meal, every day. I work 12-hour shifts, and I just think, how would this be if we were long-term? Would I do all the cooking?
Yes.
I guess probably that's a deal breaker. I like cooking for my partner, but it sort of seems like it's not something that he's ever going to do, maybe.
It sounds like something he's not going to do, definitely, I think you meant.
I think he just said, I'm not going to do this.
Yeah.
The question is, would I be the asshole if I break up with him over text and tell him why honestly when I do? Or is it less asshole-ish to say it's me, not him? For context, I'm his first girlfriend.
I wonder why you're his first girlfriend, because he's a mama's boy. Okay, over text. Does she say how long they've been dating?
She said that they're not long-term.
Okay. I was like, if you've been dating over a certain amount of time, breaking up over text is assholey thing to do. But telling him why, and being honest, I feel like you definitely should do that. You need to let him know that this is a deal breaker, and most women are not going to find this attractive.
Yeah, I wonder if he maybe doesn't have many redeeming qualities because you went straight to breaking up over this one thing.
Yeah, you were quick to jump to break up, so I'm feeling like you weren't super committed because he's not that great. And this is just the camel that broke the straw's back. That's not right. This is just the straw that broke the camel's back.
Yeah, did you even, tell him, no, you need to cook?
Yeah, did you even, have any sort of discussion with him and be like, this is not acceptable behavior from an adult?
Yeah, right?
I'm just also concerned about his relationship with his mom. If his mom is okay with him coming over for dinner and she's cooking for him every night, that just screams that he is, too involved with his mom. He's a mama's boy. She is going to meddle in your relationship. He's going to side with her over you. I just do not like where this is leading.
Yeah, it's a red flag.
Yes, definitely a red flag. Also, I feel like even if you don't want to cook, there are very easy meals you can make for yourself. Spaghetti with sauce out of a jar.
Yeah, if you're cooking for your girlfriend and you suck at cooking, you just go buy a frozen meal and you cook it in the oven. It's no work.
Yeah, there are so many easy options that he could cook in 10 or 15 minutes. Frozen meals, pasta, grilled cheese. If you want to be super easy, you don't need to resort to going to your mother's every night.
Yeah.
You should at least, maybe once in a while for a nice home-cooked meal. Yeah, cool. Because your mom is probably obviously cooking better than he's capable of. But every night is so excessive and extreme.
No, just go get one of those bags of frozen Chinese food. You throw it in the oven and you come back in 15 minutes.
Buy a rotisserie chicken and just eat rotisserie chicken.
Yeah, there's so many things. You can order takeout.
Yeah.
It sounds like he didn't even put takeout on the list of things.
I hate cooking, and there are still things that I will cook for myself that are easy enough, if you're not around.
Yeah. You're decent at cooking, though.
I just hate it so much, but I let you do most of the cooking because you like cooking. That is not how that is supposed to come out.
But I do like cooking.
I was thankfully you do most of the cooking because I hate cooking. But if you're not here, I am capable of feeding myself, generally. You're saying no, I'm not, aren't you?
No, I'm just saying that you're going to eat yogurt and cereal.
Yes, but I would have fed myself. I wouldn't go to mommy's for dinner. That's even more inconvenient than feeding myself. I'm just having cereal, though.
All right, let's go to the first of multiple edits.
Okay.
Am I the asshole if I tell him it physically repulsed me when he said it?
Okay, that is maybe a little too honest.
Yeah, I agree on that one. That's too much honesty.
Yes, tell him the reason is because it's this and you find it unattractive. Physically repulsed. That's just mean.
That is devastating. You're his first and last girlfriend if you say that. Edit 2. For anyone asking how long we've been together, we've been dating about a month. Talking, seeing each other for 4 months. He was a virgin, and I'm taking this breakup thing seriously because I feel horrible breaking his heart. But I'm also thoroughly disgusted.
Ooh.
You called him out. That's so mean. Why did you write that on Reddit?
Reddit didn't need to know that.
Edit 3. He's a work-from-home accountant. I commute an hour and work as a nurse in a very physically and emotionally demanding field. I expect my partner to pick up the slack when I'm exhausted, as I would do for him. When he said this to me, it was like a bomb being dropped on me. Every excuse I made for him just sort of shattered. I can't even muster the force to text him back because I'm so repulsed. But I have 3 night shifts coming up, so I guess I'll just pretend for now.
Yeah.
OP really does not like this man. This was a hard deal breaker for her.
I'm wondering how much she liked him before he said this, but now she really hates him.
Yeah, right? She turned hard. There's also an update. But we're going to go to comments first.
Okay, go to comments. But I want the update.
Top comment. Not the asshole. Married for 13 years, 2 kids. I want you to know this is the kind of stuff that kills relationships. The amount of built-up resentment from an entitled partner will have you daydreaming stabbing him in the eyeball.
Ooh.
Wow. I feel like this commenter said that from experience.
Mm-hmm.
End it now. End it early. Save yourself any future heartache.
Yeah, I feel like in a relationship, if you are not both on the same page about the responsibility of chores, it is not a good relationship. Things do not go well. One of you ends up resentful. It's bad.
Not the asshole, because I'd bet my last nickel this isn't the only thing he refuses to do for himself, and that he will assume you will do for him when his mommy stops doing it.
Yes.
You could have a conversation about it. Ask him flat out, does he see himself continuing to go to his mother's for dinner every night, or does he just assume you will do it? Ask him who does his laundry. It is possible that he truly hates cooking and would be willing to do all other chores if you agree to do that one. It's not likely, but it's possible. Good luck. And then let's do one more comment.
Okay.
I'm looking for a partner, a person who has my back, and I have theirs. I'm not looking for someone who wants me to cook for them every night after a 12-hour shift because they are too lazy. What would happen in the future? Would I be expected to do all the housework while I work and you sit around? You are showing that you don't value me. Right now you're dating. This is the best it will be. People are usually on their best behavior. Toxic traits usually come out after marriage. He's showing you this now. Don't waste more of your time. To which OP replied, I think I will definitely paraphrase this because it really does make me feel like I'm trying to communicate. I sure hope that the toxic traits come out before marriage.
I do think that is why it is kind of important to live together before marriage. Like, I know a lot of people are like really against that, but like, I think that's pretty important to see if you're compatible.
It's a good test.
It is a really good test.
You really learn if you're compatible with somebody when you live together.
Mm-hmm.
Even if you're just engaged and live together.
Yeah. I don't know if I could marry someone without living with them first, or at least like practically living with them, you know?
Mm-hmm. I mean, we lived together first. It worked out. All right, now to the update.
Okay.
I said this to someone who was saying I was cruel, and I really want to share this. I liked this man. I was falling in love with him. I posted on Reddit because I care. The fact that a 31-year-old man has no interest in cooking for himself physically repulses me. Maybe because of past relationships. Maybe because there are other underlying things that are adding up. I'm not sure right now. All I know is that when I entered the relationship, I thought I saw a mature, intelligent young man who was ready to start a life with a person who he found equally appealing. Now, I see a spoiled man-child who will have me cooking and cleaning for the rest of my life because he had such a long day at work. There's a woman who is prepared to do every single bit of emotional and physical labor that is involved with rearing children and running a family. I need a partner, not a child. Partners share the burden of life's tasks. While I am down, I need my partner to lift me up and vice versa. So most of these comments are correct. It is a huge red flag, and I'm better off focusing on taking care of myself and maybe purchasing my mom and stepdad's home so they can finally retire and my brother and his partner have a stable living situation. Okay.
What does that have to do with anything?
I guess that's just she needs to work on her own things right now.
Okay.
Regrettably, I do think it was a mistake posting this. I appreciate the comments from everyone, but no one told me what I wanted to hear because the comments aren't from him. Ultimately, what I wanted to hear from him is that he would try, and that's not what he told me today when I called. Okay, so you did talk to him. I am a nasty woman in his world. As much as that hurts me, I have known for a while that I need to learn to let go and leave. This was just an exercise in that. If I hurt your feelings in the comments, I'm sorry. I'm just heartbroken.
Okay, so she talked with him and it did not go well and he called her a nasty woman.
Sounds like it.
Okay. Yeah, good thing you broke up with him now then.
I do really hope she did not say physically repulsed at any point when they talked.
Yeah.
Because that would maybe make me say something I'd regret if you called me that. Sounds like they broke up. Hopefully they can both move on and find better partners that are more in line with what they're looking for. Sounds like they weren't
compatible at all.
No, not in the least.
Am I the asshole for paying off my daughter's student loans but not giving the same amount to her brother who didn't go to university?
I mean, I'd feel like you can't compare student loan repayment to, like, just giving cash to your kid.
My husband passed away unexpectedly in early 2024 from a heart attack. I received a life insurance payout and have been managing it carefully. Recently, I used a portion, around $60,000, to pay off my daughter's student loans. Now my son is upset, saying I'm playing favorites because I did not give him the same amount of money as his sister. Back in 2005, my daughter was 18, very bright but dealing with depression and unsure of what to do after school. I pressured her hard to go to university because I thought it was the best path for her. She wasn't ready but went anyway to please her father and I. She ended up doing history because it was the most tolerable thing to her, and she just wanted to get a degree to get us off her back. That degree didn't lead anywhere. She worked low-paying jobs for years and accumulated significant debt as her loan value increased due to indexation, similar to interest. Yeah, it is hard to get a job if you're a history major.
Yeah, that's a pretty narrow field.
At 30, frustrated with her employment prospects, she went back to university and got a law degree. In our country, law can be done as an undergrad. She now has a good job in that field, but her debt was basically double because of the degree she only did because I pressured her. I've always felt some guilt over that, and now I'm in a position to help. I chose to pay off her loans. Edit, because I forgot to mention this, she was in the first few years of her law job paying back more than the minimum she has to in an attempt to pay them down faster, so she was trying to help herself.
Sounds like she had some pretty bad loans, yeah.
But she was doing her best, like she was paying more than she had to try and pay them off herself. Her younger brother never went to university. He's not academic, has never been very smart, always hated school, and dropped out at 15. And I never pushed him the way I did her. He's been working as a postal delivery worker for years and has no student loans. When he found out I paid off her loans because I accidentally sent him a text message meant for her, he demanded the same amount in cash.
Wow, that's a hell of a demand.
I told him that I've done this specifically because it's an educational expense. Giving him cash will feel to my daughter like a punishment all over again. Her brother gets fun money, and all she gets is the degree I pressured her to do paid off.
I mean, not being like $60,000 in debt is pretty fun.
And honestly, I don't think a lump sum would be good for him. He doesn't manage money well and tends to spend impulsively. Am I the asshole for saying no, given that I did this to correct what I feel was a mistake, pushing my daughter into university before she was ready?
Did you give your son anything?
No.
It sure sounds like no. I mean, I don't think it's unreasonable if you had given your son like a smaller amount. You're helping your daughter move to zero, which I think is more justified in giving her a larger amount. Like, you don't have to... They're siblings. They should be able to be happy for each other.
Mm-hmm.
It's not all about, like, you get equal amounts. It's like sister had more need, so you gave her a larger amount. But it sounds like you gave son zero. And he also did lose his dad.
My take on this, I want to back it up even further. Her daughter was depressed and she pushed her to go to university. But her son, who was also struggling in high school, she allowed him to drop out.
Yeah.
You are an asshole for not pushing him the same way that you pushed your daughter. You should have pushed him to, even if he wasn't into academics, you should have pushed him to go to a trade school or something.
Or at least finish high school.
Yeah, you should not have allowed him to drop out. Everybody should finish high school. And then, if he didn't want to go to university, you should have still pushed him to go to trade school or something to get a better paying job. You really failed your son.
It does sound like you pushed your daughter too hard and then went the complete opposite route and just let your son do whatever.
So I really feel like she failed her son.
Yeah, as harsh as that sounds, I kind of agree. Like, you need to make. You can't let somebody drop out at 15 without a lot of discussion beforehand. Like, there are situations, very rare situations, in my opinion, where it's okay to let someone drop out.
Mm-hmm.
It sounds like you did not put much thought into it and just let a 15-year-old make this life-altering decision.
And now he's been a postal worker for years. He's not good with money because you never taught him how to be good with money. I feel like you've really failed him.
Which is, I gotta say, I don't know if you can become a postal worker in the U.S. without a high school degree.
I don't know either. Probably not.
It's a decent paying job.
Yeah, it's not a bad job.
Yeah. It sounds like they're like maybe in Australia or something, so I'm not sure how things work over there. But yeah, like there's nothing wrong with being a postal carrier in the US.
Now, it's tough because I know she feels guilty that she pushed her daughter into going to college, getting a useless degree, and just accumulating a bunch of debt. But I do feel like it is extremely unfair to give one sibling $60K and the other sibling nothing.
Yeah, that's an extreme difference. I agree on that.
I also get that your son is bad with money and you don't want to give him just a big lump sum. Maybe instead of giving him a lump sum, like, put down a down payment on a house for him.
That would be good.
Something where he can't just blow through it. Do something for him where you are paying off his debt or getting him set up in a good way. Another good thing is, offer to give him that money for educational expenses now.
I mean, he's more mature. Maybe he does want to go.
Does he want to get his GED and then go get a university degree? Does he want to get his GED and then go to trade school? You know, I would try and push him to better himself.
Yeah, I will add in, we don't know what his opinion on being a postal carrier is. Maybe he loves that job.
Yeah.
That was Mom's opinion that that's a bad job.
Yeah, so I was like, I would give him options: education, trade school, house.
Does he have debt?
I don't know.
We don't know that either.
He probably does have debt because he's not good with money, but it's not from, like, her...
Yeah, but you got his
pushing
sister...
him to go to school, yeah.
Yeah, but you took his sister to zero. It does sound like you're thinking a lot on sister and being like, well, he's fine. Or he doesn't need it.
Yeah, and I feel like that is extremely unfair. This is money from his dad, too.
Yeah, and sharing it with just one kid is, like, an extreme statement on...
Which kid you prefer?
Yes.
My daughter is my favorite, and it is obvious to everyone now.
Right. She got a new job. She got a good job. She's starting to pay down her debt, and then you turn up and pay off all of her debt. It wasn't even like a loan.
No, and I do kind of get, like, helping those who help themselves. Like, it almost seems like she thinks her son is a lost cause.
It does. That's a little harsh.
Mm-hmm. And I feel like if he is a lost cause, it is your fault. You let him drop out of high school at 15. What is wrong with you? Did you not care about him at all?
Uh-huh.
However, the son demanding the same amount of money.
Oh, that's very entitled, and I don't like that.
No, I do not like that at all, and that makes me more disinclined to give him any money.
Yeah, the whole situation's awfully messy, isn't it?
Yeah.
I kind of only like the daughter in this situation.
Yeah, I was like, I feel like the son deserves something, but now that he's demanded it, that I'm like, no.
But he wouldn't have gotten anything if he didn't demand it and been like, that's unfair. Why are you giving so much money to sis? It's just, this is raising a lot of questions that we don't have answers for.
Reddit is kind of split, strangely. Top comment, tell him you're happy to set aside the same amount for educational expenses for him. He can choose to use it or not. NTA.
Yeah, I mean, I still have to say, there's nothing wrong with being a postal carrier, I assume. I have to base it off of the U.S. postal system, and you have a pretty good, like, retirement package. So if it's anything like that, that's a good job. It's not like a lawyer or anything, but you're doing all right. So yeah, like, maybe house as well.
There's a lot of people who really took it to heart when she said she doesn't think a lump sum would be good for him. And so they're trying to figure out how to not let him have the money, but still help him.
Right.
And stuff.
And that's valid.
So, like, set the money aside for education and nothing else, and only pay for it after he receives his degree. So, like, if he starts college and then quits, don't pay for it, which I don't know about that.
I don't like that. I would say just send the bill over to her.
Yeah, I would say I will pay the school.
Yeah.
You go to school and send me the bill and I will pay for it, you know?
Yeah, don't let him, like, if it doesn't work out, don't leave him with debt and no degree to help him with that debt. But there's a lot of ways you can advance your life outside of education. So, like, yeah, house, maybe he needs a new car. Just, like, there's lots of ways that people accumulate debt that you could help him with.
A lot of people are also mad that she did not push her son to finish high school.
Yeah, that's definitely a strike for her, in my opinion.
The fact that she let her son be a high school dropout instead of pressuring him to stay, and then she continues to label him as being stupid, yet she feels no sense of guilt that the only reason he is stuck in a low-paying job is because she didn't pressure him to stay like she did her daughter, nor did she give him the help he needed when he was younger.
Yeah, letting a 15-year-old drop out of high school like that is just because he's struggling. It sounds like there wasn't a good reason.
Mm-hmm. And then other people are saying, there's more ways to invest in someone's future than education. He could use the money towards a down payment on a home, or if he had a home, put it towards his mortgage debt, or he could invest it. He's gainfully employed and hopefully happy with his job. Why would he go for more schooling?
Yeah, I need his opinion on this, and we don't have it. So, like...
The only opinion that we have of his is that it's not fair that his sister got $60,000 and he didn't.
Which it kind of isn't.
Yeah. Another solution someone came up with, tell him you'll set aside the same amount for him for education, whether it's a degree or trades or whatever. That way it's fair and up to him to decide if he wants to use it. If he doesn't use it but has kids, maybe it can go to them.
I'd be very happy if somebody threw some money in a college fund for my, kids.
If he's planning on having kids. If he's not planning on having kids, then that's like, well, gee, thanks for nothing.
Yeah, but I agree, it does sound like you're playing favorites here.
No assholes. However, your son has a point and he will feel slighted unless you treat him as equally as possible, given that his situation is different. Maybe you could tell him that if he ever buys a house or starts a business, you will help him out at that time, just so that he knows that his sister isn't the only one you will provide extra support for. OP replies, I get that. What makes me feel bad there is that my daughter will once again feel punished because she probably would have preferred help to buy a house now than her degree. But I strongly pushed her into university at 18 and told her I'd be disappointed in her if she didn't finish and kind of made that choice for her. So I've told my son if he wants to get a degree, I will help with that. That feels equal to me. They're both getting offered to have their educations covered.
That's not a good take, I feel. She just admitted that her daughter would rather have the $60K towards a mortgage?
Yep.
Why didn't you give her the $60K for a mortgage then? Like I said, I don't know how the student loan system works over there, but it's pretty good interest here. Like, it's one of the easier debts to pay back.
Mm-hmm.
Even if it takes a while. That statement makes me think that you're still being kind of controlling. Like, the daughter would rather her debt get paid down over on a mortgage, and you're like, no, this is for education.
Okay, someone replies to OP's comment, why do you keep saying your daughter will feel punished? This statement makes no sense. Why would she feel punished if you helped your son? You paid for 2 degrees for her, the one you wanted and the one she wanted. Maybe your daughter is not as delicate as you think she is. Maybe she would not be bothered by you helping her brother. Or does your daughter not want you to give your son any money because she knows she is the favorite and wants to be the only one to benefit? Your son is the one who seems to have been punished most, if not all, of his life. It's clear you don't care for him. You talk crap about him and basically said he is stupid. I bet this didn't start when he was 15. He has probably felt the favoritism his entire life. You haven't said one favorable thing about him. It's no wonder he had problems.
Just like that person said, it sounds like you don't like your son. You've only said bad things about him. He's holding a steady job.
Yeah, he's worked there for years. That's like really good.
He's holding a steady job in what is honestly a decent place to work. It's like a government agency, maybe. I don't know how it works over there. But there's nothing wrong with getting that government paycheck.
So a lot of Reddit thinks he shouldn't be demanding, but they understand his frustration with the preferential treatment his sister is getting.
It sure sounds like a frustrated statement being like, oh, now you're giving her $60K.
Mm-hmm.
Well, why can't I have $60K? Yeah, taking everything else into account, I can't blame him.
Yeah, I feel like the mom has been always extremely unfair, and she is continuing to be extremely unfair.
Yeah, sure sounds like it. All right, that's our last story for this week. Thanks for joining us on this episode of Josh and Kristie Stealing the Internet.
Hit that subscribe button for us, and we'll see you next time.